What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. We're going to have a little bit of a polisher battle today. We got the Rupes Bigfoot 21 and we got the Rupes Duetto. We're going to pit them against each other. So we're going to wash and clay the hood of the Jeep, and then we're going to grab my favorite all-in-one polish and we're going to split the hood in half and use both of them and see the results and see how they compare. Stay tuned. So I already washed the hood with some O&R like we did last week, same process. So now we're actually going to clay it. I'm going to use the clay mitt and some O&R mixed to the clay lube ratio, which is 1 capful per quart, or 1 ounce, I'm sorry, a ½ ounce per quart, 2 ounces per gallon. So we're just going to spray that on there. Put down the mitt. And then just go back and forth in straight lines. Do about 1/4 of the hood at a time. This hood is really hammered because it sits under a tree a lot at my other job. So every time it rains, every time it just gets a ton of stuff stuck to it. And then we'll do the other half. Obviously, watching through the video, you guys are not going to be able to see how rough this thing is, but it's funny. Even though I wax it all the time, it doesn't really seem to make much of a difference when you have it parked under a tree. So you just want to go back and forth in straight lines until you feel the paint is nice and smooth, and then you'll know you have all the contaminants off of it. Just like that. So this is the medium grade mitt, which it's actually recommended on black to use the fine grade mitt, but I decided to use the medium because there really is a ton of contaminants on this hood, so I want to get them all off of there rapidly instead of messing around with the fine grade mitt for a lot longer. Alright, now I can feel it's nice and smooth as glass. So now we can dry it off. Alright, so after claying, I'm going to remove any wax or anything that's left over. I'm going to use this Geon Prep spray right here. So I find that this stuff works better if you let it sit on the paint for a little while, you know, maybe a minute or two. Soak it down good so it starts breaking down whatever wax I have on there. Alright, so I've let that Geon Prep dwell on here for a minute, help break down those waxes so I can wipe them off. The whole purpose of that is because when you're compounding or polishing, you want the compound to be doing as much work as possible on the paint. And if you leave wax on there, that's actually going to be protecting and lubricating the surface and protecting it from your polish or compound. So you want to get as much of that as you can off so your polish can actually do the most work. So you guys can see this hood actually is really hammered. And the reason I decided to just do an all-in-one polish is because the paint is actually very thin on the hood, which I'll show you guys with the paint depth gauge. So going around the whole hood, it was somewhere between 2 and 3, which it should be between 4 and 5, so it's kind of thin in the first place. And there's a few spots that even get into the 1s. Alright, so one of the first things we're going to do before we actually polish is going to prime the pad. I put a liberal amount of product on there. Really want to make sure you especially get it on the edges. And then I just take my fingers and just spread it out. So that way when we start polishing, we'll have the entire pad covered with product and the whole entire thing will be doing work right away. I'm going to put 3 drops on the pad. Put the cord over the shoulder. I'm going to set the machine on speed 5. Spread our product out. So after we have our product spread out, we're going to leave the machine on speed 5, and then we're actually going to start moving slowly across the paint and actually start polishing it. So let's go. Alright, so to keep it fair, I'm going to do the same size area basically, and we're going to do only 2 section passes and see what the results that we get after, because I'm not going for a ton of correction. I'm just looking to spruce this thing up and get rid of some of the scratches and all the little stains and stuff from the trees. And you can see how we have this dark color coming off on the pad. This hood I don't even think has any clear coat on it. I'm pretty sure it was resprayed at some point. So I'm actually taking the color off and not actually buffing the clear coat. And I think that's another reason why this hood gets trashed so quickly, because usually a month after I do some correction on it, it kind of is looking crappy again. So I'm going to wipe this off. I'm going to load up the 21 Mark III, do the other half, and let's compare the results. Alright, so once again, we're going to prime up the pad first, which, since this is so much bigger of a pad, it's going to take a bit more product. Get my 3 drips of product on there. Once again, I'm going to set this machine on speed 5. Alright, 2 section passes. Alright, so there's what we did with the 21. And then you can see the tape line. And there's what we did with the Duetto. And I don't know if you guys will be able to see on camera, but where I did with the 21 definitely achieved a bit more correction. Now keep in mind, this is in artificial light, which is very critical. Once this is outside, it's going to look a lot better. So I shot both these machines in slow motion. We got the Duetto first, which has a 12mm throw, and that's how much the pad is oscillating there. And then you can see with the Bigfoot 21, we have a 21mm throw, so you can see how much more that pad is oscillating, which translates into more work per rotation. So as you can see, using the all-in-one polish, it really didn't take that much paint off, which is exactly what I was going for. So we did good. And as always, thank you guys for watching. See you next time.